You're watching the Livewell, brought to you by Rapala.
Hey, welcome to the Livewell presented by Rapala. We are into the summer right now, and that means the final third of the season. For the Bassmaster Elite Series, that means our northern swing and Ronnie Moore. We're going to the St. Lawrence River and Lake Ontario first. Nobody's worried about the fish in there. It just seems to get better every year.
Yeah, it's a yearly occurrence for the Bassmaster Elite Series to show up to upstate New York and to see something a little bit different. See a lot of the same, but a little bit different. This time around, we have all of the aspects open to these anglers. We're taking off out of Clayton, New York. We're going to have the river in play, not only New York, but also Canada. We're going to have Lake Ontario in play just to the west of our takeoff location, and we'll have Canada open there as well as New York. So a lot of options for these anglers to attack.
Well, you'll be able to see two countries there, and the last two events there at the St. Lawrence, Lake Ontario, have been won by internationals. Year before last, Chris Johnson of Canada, Taku Ito, 2021 from Japan. So can the Americans make a comeback here?
Hey, Carl Jacobson from Australia, Jeff Gustafson. There's a lot of other internationals that want to, keep that streak going. But honestly, Tommy, it's going to be somewhat of a slugfest like we always see, but we always think about that 100-pound mark. Will we hit it? Will we not? We saw last year almost the same exact week, around 90 pounds is what it took to win. I have had some friends up in New York over the last week or two, still catching plenty of fish shallow on beds, but we do know that they'll end up making their transition over the next week or two, and we'll have a lot of post-spawn smallmouth.
Yeah, it's a terrific time to go to the St. Lawrence and to Lake Ontario. Lake Ontario is where the action is always expected to be, and like you mentioned, Clayton, New York gives us easy access to that. Is it going to take 20 pounds a day to make the top 10?
I think that it's going to be in that range because I think we're going to see a big portion of our field go to Lake Ontario. In past years, like we said, the lake has been off limits. In past years, we haven't had Canada open. So a lot of these areas have been pressured by 2 or 3, 4 or 5 guys in the same area. Now we're going to have a lot more of the lake open. It's a lot closer. You can make a run farther into the lake if you want to the islands out there, or to the Canada side. We saw in the opens last year when Canada was open, we saw some of our guys factor there as well. I'd say if you're not at 20 pounds a day to make the top 10, you're going to be pretty darn close. Maybe only 9th or 10th is the ones who are under that mark, but it's going to be close. I just don't know. You're going to have a tough day. Taku Ito, day 1 last year, had 17 pounds and then caught 73 the next 3 days, so hard to be on pace for 100 pounds, though.
A lot of diversity, and we've seen everything win tournaments there. We've seen crankbaits and drop shots, swim baits, Ned rigs, even little tiny marabou jigs have won up there. So we'll have a lot of good different ways, different approaches to enjoy as we watch.
Yeah, and for the Rapala Livewell, we're thinking about some of those spin baits. The Arashi spin bait, we're going to see that come into factor a lot out in the lake. It's hard sometimes to fish that bait in current in the river, but in the lake we should see a spin bait factor. We'll also, like you mentioned, a Ned rig. We'll also see some of those marabou hair jigs. Those are going to factor as well. And then your traditional drop shots. I think some guys are going to also think about that Nico rig because Taku Ito kept that under wraps. But for the most part, it took us a lot of fish catches to realize, hey, he was not standardized drop shotting. He was actually throwing a Nico rig and picking them off with his live sonar. So we'll be seeing a lot of that factor as well.
Well, here it comes, and it should be great as usual. The Guaranteed Rate Bassmaster Elite at the St. Lawrence River. We'll have coverage all 4 days of it right here on Bassmaster.com and the Fox digital platforms, and of course Saturday and Sunday on FS1. We look forward to seeing you